I actually passed? Yeah! I passed!
Was there any doubt?
A new path to tread.
All that hard work's paid off.
Ah, shucks. I guess I did it.
I can't believe I did it!
I did pretty well.
Hey, Leone, are you just getting back? Whoa, what's with the bag? It's huge!
Oh, this? I thought I'd get all my chores done at once. Guess it got a little out of hand. Sorry to be a pain, but could you help me out?
I'm happy to help. Where'd you go to get all this stuff?
Well, first it was just the cloth scraps from the tailor, and then it was the used oil from a restaurant in town. After that, it was the books the scholars didn't know what to do with. I mean, that was just on the way.
Whoa, it sounds like you did a lot of running around today.
It wasn't so bad. I just figured it would save time if I did it all in one trip.
You planned all that out? Impressive! What are you gonna do with all that stuff you got?
The scraps will be good for dishcloths, and I can make soap from the oil. The books are just to help with my studies.
You really can't let anything go to waste, can you?
Nope, can't stand the idea.
Who knew you were so thoughtful? I mean, with actual thinking ahead. You're so generous to everyone and always making me food. I never knew how much thought you must put into it.
I cook to relax, and it's nice seeing how enthusiastic you get about eating what I make. Whatever I give away is just the stuff that isn't useful to me. I pick up all sorts of things when I'm in town. Giving things like that to people who need them or who can actually use them makes sure they aren't wasted.
That makes sense. You've got to use up the stuff you've got after all. Hey, do you think you're like this because you didn't have much growing up?
I guess times were tough now that you mention it. The folks in my village definitely aren't rich. My dad had to go through a lot of trouble to get the recommendations I needed to attend the academy. That doesn't mean I've grown up to be stingy. It just means I don't like to squander. Anyway, enough of that. It's in poor taste to go on about your own hardships. I've always got time for a meal with a friend, and it so happens I picked up some choice meat today. Why don't we share it?
Now you're speaking my language.
Hello, Marianne. You're well, I hope?
I am, Lawrence. Thank you.
I cannot help but notice you do not look it.
Is that so? I feel fine. Was there something you needed?
How unseemly of me. My apologies. It is not my intention to stare.
Does something about me seem off?
Oh, not at all. I was just remembering your father. Or rather, comparing my experience of him to you. Your father, Margrave Edmund. He is one of the shrewdest nobles in all the Alliance, with a noted gift for pointed speech. On and beyond the battlefield, his words have the power to move friend and foe alike. My own father has said he would not want to make an enemy of him. Naturally, I am of the same mind. Your father is blessed with gifts of confidence and eloquence, yet compared to him, you seem always reticent and downcast. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cause you discomfort. It's just that the contrast between you and your father is striking.
I have very little in common with my adoptive father.
But he sent you to Garreg Mach. Clearly, he sees potential in you. I think I see it too. Yes, a certain charm, gravitas, if you will. Just like him. Oh,
I can't say that I know too much about him. I should be going now.
yes, yes, of course. Please, take care. Oh, such grace, such serenity. How could such a beauty be hiding in plain sight? With a little polish, she would shine magnificently.
Ah! Claude, why didn't you say anything?
You were praying so fervently, I didn't want to interrupt.
I appreciate the sentiment, but I wasn't praying.
No? What then?
I was just thinking about the goddess.
Were you now? Fascinating. Please, go on.
Not here. Let's go somewhere else.
So, you were pondering the existence of the goddess then?
Yes. All right, consider this. The archives here have all kinds of texts about the goddess, right? But when people tell stories of the goddess, it's only myths and legends that glorify her.
They probably hope to rake in more followers by glorifying the goddess as much as possible. That would be why the church tends to quietly shove all of their more questionable records under some secret rug somewhere.
Claude, don't put words in my mouth. That's not what I said. I was just wondering what the goddess looks like. That's the kind of thing I like to think about.
What the goddess looks like? Well, I suppose if she really exists, she probably looks a lot like us. In fact, she probably wouldn't be so different from that old woman working here in the dining hall.
What? Claude, please stop. The goddess I imagine is absolutely beautiful.
How rude of you, Ignatz. I'm sure that old woman was lovely back in her day.
Meat is the best! Veggies and fish are great too, but there's nothing like a good cut of meat.
May I join you?
Hey, Lawrence, you here to eat? It looks like you barely grabbed anything.
Please, this amount will suffice for me. There's no need to compare our portions.
No wonder you're so skinny. My little sis eats more than you. Come on, have some of mine. You need it more than I do.
You offer me half-eaten scraps? The nerve! With manners like that, even a nobleman would be an absolute disgrace. Have you no dignity?
You're pretty touchy, huh? It's probably just because you're hungry.
Raphael, please, do you mind? I cannot enjoy the simple pleasure of a meal in these conditions.
Why can't you enjoy your meal? You don't like what's on the menu? You wait here. I'll go to the kitchen and find something tastier for you.
That won't be necessary. Please, just let me eat. In peace. Alone.
I don't think you get it, Lawrence. Nothing goes with a meal better than good company. If leading the Alliance is your goal, you should really try eating with other people first.
I'm afraid I fail to see the connection between leadership and dining.
If you want to be a leader, you have to know how to get along with different types of people, right? If you really want to get to know someone, all you have to do is share a meal with them.
Quite the contrary, unfortunately. It seems the more time I spend eating with you, the less likely we are to become friends.
The more you eat with someone, the more you learn about them. Their likes, their dislikes, you know? You might get some of their food that way too. You can eat more and bulk up. All that talking made me hungry again. I'm gonna go get seconds.
Oh, what an absolute bother. But I suppose he does have a point about observations of character at the dinner table. Ignatz, let us take a short break. I will pour tea. Please choose a teapot for us to use.
You want me to pick one?
I don't see any other Ignatz around here, do you? Go on now, we're wasting time. The pots are over here. I will leave the selection to your judgment.
Let's see. How about this?
That's rather plain. Why did you choose that one?
The tea you chose has a very subtle taste, as well as a smooth, light texture. Such an unassuming tea calls for an unassuming pot, and one that complements the tea's color. In addition, the pot I selected has a floral design. Although we can't go for a walk today, we can still bask a little in nature's beauty.
Very interesting. You know, you have an absolutely marvelous aesthetic eye. Precisely what I would expect from the son of a merchant house that has enjoyed the Gloucester's patronage for so many years. After we graduate, when you begin your trade in earnest, I will introduce you to my father.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. But I'm afraid I'm already on the path to becoming a knight.
Ah, right, you are a second son. Still, your eye for beauty is a talent that should not go to waste. Very well. If you are to be a knight, then I shall happily take you into my service.
Well...
What, does that displease you?
Not at all. I just need a little time to think it over.
His eye for the arts is unwavering, but in all other matters he is woefully indecisive. You. Just what are you up to?
Well, if it isn't Lawrence.
Yes, it is. Try not to sound so affronted. And you're just whimsically wandering the monastery grounds again, I suppose?
Oh, naturally. After all, I really do adore the Garrick Mock Monastery.
No, I think not. That impish look on your face does not suggest innocence. You are up to something.
Lawrence, control yourself. Let's not start throwing around baseless accusations. It's not proper. This monastery is packed with 1,000 years of history. Well, 5 years shy of 1,000 if we're going for accuracy. Those pillars, these walls, even the floor, they've all seen more than we can possibly imagine. Our distant ancestors may have walked these very halls. Doesn't that excite you?
Perhaps if this were a discussion about art, but I'm afraid walls and floors are not sufficiently interesting to hold my attention. Nor will they suffice to distract me from what is plainly suspicious about you. House Regan was on the brink of collapse until they suddenly revealed you as their legitimate heir. That was only a year ago. Where were you before then? Are you even a true heir to House Regan?
If I weren't truly of House Regan descent, how do you imagine I acquired my crest?
A crest is insufficient. I am referring to your noble disposition or lack thereof.
Well, that's what I came here to hone, after all. I can only hope that you will assent to instruct me in the art of snobbery, Professor Lawrence.
I do not think you grasp the significance of the responsibility you bear. Do you even know what it means to lead the Leicester Alliance? I take no pleasure in saying this, but much of the chaos in our ranks right now is due to the failings of House Regan's leadership. I intend to set things right, and once I expose you for the fraud you are and reclaim my rightful place, that is precisely what I will do. To be blunt, it would have been better had you never shown your face here.
Sheesh, that guy. He just can't be reasoned with.
A hero's relic. Quite so. The stone within the sword. A glow of red. Oh, it is nothing.
Hello there. I was thinking.
Have you heard of the War of the Eagle and Lion? It was the battle that won the kingdom its independence from the Empire. Even the Church of Saros had no choice but to recognize the courage of Lug, the King of Lions who emerged victorious. The Church awarded him a crown and the right to govern the Fargus region, backing him in his bid to found the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. In return, Lug agreed to make the Church of Saros the religion of his territory, and permitted them to publicly proselytize across the kingdom. In the 400 years since, the Church and the kingdom have continued to maintain very close relations.
I see. To figure out our foe's intentions, we need information. Lots of it. Or any, at the least. For now, try going around the monastery and looking for suspicious locations. You should also try chatting folks up to see if they know anything. Once we've got things narrowed down, let's meet up and compare notes. Can I ask you a favor?
It seems there were forces opposing the church, beyond Lord Lonato. I never thought such forces could exist in this world. I suppose that may be true.
I don't know who's to blame for all this commotion, but it's frankly a huge inconvenience. With everyone stuck on guard duty, our study and training time has been drastically reduced. Indeed. For now, let's do all we can to find and dispose of our enemy.
The monks declined my offer of assistance. They said that no one from Duskur is to be trusted, especially now. Given the circumstances, I cannot fault them.
the...
So, yeah. I bet the enemy's using this assassination nonsense just to sneak in and raid the pantry. What do you think, Professor? Oh, I'm right, all right. My animal instinct is telling me that the enemy is after our best meats.
Is it true you got caught in the fighting? I'm so thankful you made it out alive. I don't know what we would do if we lost you.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been tasked with guarding the monastery as well? Such a stir over a single letter. But I suppose the Archbishop's safety is too important to risk.
Professor.
I need a favor. Yes?
Hi. Have you heard? Rumor has it that Death himself has been appearing in Garreg Mach. They say he appears every night and kidnaps folks. I wonder what happens to them.
So sleepy. Too sleepy. I found an interesting book in the library. Got so caught up reading it, I forgot to sleep. Interesting discovery, though. The coffins of the 4 saints in the sanctum each have their crests carved into them. I'll need to find a way down there to get a look.
That's so.
Well? What's the matter? You're running all over creation. Ah, you don't believe Lady Rhea is the real target, do you? Even so, the Knights have their orders. We can't abandon our duty to guard Lady Rhea. The goddess's rite of rebirth is an important event for the Church of Seros. They say it's the day when the goddess will return to walk among us. Not too likely, if you ask me. Best if you keep that to yourself.
That's so.
Something in the monastery that someone might go after? There's so much here, I couldn't possibly name just one. Even this here kitchen contains precious wares, wine bottles from centuries past and the like. I hear that stuff is fancy, but not very drinkable. I doubt anyone would go to the trouble of stealing it.
Okay?
Are we really just taking Claude's word for it? If so, I doubt anything will come of this. It is all probably just some sort of distasteful joke. I find it highly unlikely that anyone would be foolish enough to barge in here and cause a disturbance.
Maybe.
It would be terrible if the greenhouse was targeted. The plants in here are incredibly valuable. This place contains the heart of Garreg Mach's 995-year history. So many beautiful flowers, plants that can save or end lives. They are all my precious children.
Maybe. Okay?
Professor, I hope you're well. As for me, I had a date with a splendid specimen of a knight. But now he's suddenly not in the mood to see me again. I blame all these rumors of a deathly figure showing up in town. Such an uproar must have, beyond reason, drawn his attention away from me.
What?
So...
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. The goddess's rite of rebirth is this month, right? The monastery gates will be thrown wide open on that day. I'll be working as a guide. I hope I get to guide some lovely ladies around.
Lady Rhea lifts the spirits of all the people of Fodlan. We cannot allow her to come to any harm.
That's right.
Hey. Professor, I hope you're well. As for me, I blame all these... No, that's not mine. I hope you find the owner.
What?
So... So...
Setting fire to the stables to distract everyone, to cause a commotion. It is the oldest trick in the book, but I cannot shake the thought that our enemies may attempt it. I will stand guard and watch over the stable, and the knight's horses. They are truly magnificent. Please, do me a favor.
I've heard talk of students wandering the monastery late at night. They wouldn't happen to be from your class, would they? Please keep your students in line, Professor. Kids these days.
I've been in town procuring some supplies for Flame. Nothing out of the ordinary. Do not trouble yourself over it. I have something to ask of you.
Let's see. All this talk of assassination plots. It brings back dark memories I prefer to keep buried. I doubt there is any correlation, and yet... it is nothing. I am sorry for allowing my mind to wander. My focus should be solely on guarding the monastery right now.
I hear you have fought alongside Catherine. I would wager that her power exceeded your expectations. Had you the chance to witness her relic? Thunderbrand, glowing red. That glow is a sure sign that her blood contains a crest that harmonizes with that hero's relic.
Professor? Oh, hey, Professor. I was just reading this letter from my father. Do you know him? He's a pretty big deal in the Empire. He only writes to ask how my training's going, or how many monsters I've killed. Stuff like that. Hey, I got a favor to ask.
Professor?
Do you know what this room is? It is the church's treasure vault. I say treasure, but I do not mean silver and gold and jewels. It mostly contains weapons, artifacts, and the like. Anything that would cause too great a stir, should it be stolen? No. The church knows better than to store anything too valuable in such an accessible location.
Hello! I'm in charge of managing all records for the Golden Deer House. Oh, but I don't have any information of note right now. Go ahead and continue your investigation and put a little extra effort into it, please.
No classes on a festival day. I thought I'd get to spend all day relaxing in the company of some lovely ladies. But now this mess has happened. Hey, Professor, I know there's talk of an assassination attempt, but do you really think they'll do it on the day of the Rite of Rebirth?
I feel like security would be looser some other time. Is there some reason why it has to happen on that day?
Hello.
Well done. You have my thanks.
Right. Well...
About 20 or so years ago, there was a big fire in Garreg Mach. On that day, Captain Gerald went missing. Everyone thought he was dead. It never occurred to me that he might actually have survived. The truly strange part is that in all those years, he hasn't changed a bit.
That reminds me. People seem to think that all the Knights of Seros are equal, but that isn't quite so. There are many distinguishing ranks within the Order. For example, there are squires who are training to become knights, as well as full knights, like myself. Oh, and then we have the holy knights, such as Catherine. Those are the knights that can wield a hero's relic.
Let's see. The monastery's so big. How can we narrow down the list of possible targets? The only places I can think of are the vault and the library, and I guess that's it. Someone lost that, huh? I don't know whose it is, I'm afraid.
Kidding. I can't stop thinking about Lonato. I'm sorry, Professor. I know this isn't the time, but I just can't get past it. Thank you. No matter what happens, I promise you I'll do my part.
I am afraid I have acted a bit childishly toward my brother recently. Given the circumstances, I requested that he provide me with some candies. Silly of me, really. The timing was improper, and I regret it very much now. Oh, but more importantly, this place is off limits, Professor. It is only open to the public on the day of the goddess's rite of rebirth.
Here's an idea. On the day of the rite, the monastery will be open to the public, including the Holy Mausoleum. The Holy Mausoleum is where the tomb of the Divine Saros lies. There she slumbers, eternally. That's pretty much all that's in there. Just an ancient coffin. It's sealed with a powerful magic to protect against would-be grave robbers.
Impossible. I have a thought. Have you visited the Goddess Tower? It's a sacred place used for rituals and the like. In general, students aren't allowed entry. But as you'd expect, that rule just excites their curiosity. Some have even tried sneaking in. Well, at least for this month, that kind of behavior is totally unthinkable. We have a lot more security, what with the goddess's rite of rebirth coming up.
There are numerous books in this library that you cannot find anywhere else. But once you are here, you can read them easily enough. I doubt someone would go to the trouble of stealing one. Sometimes Seteth will dispose of books that are deemed inappropriate for the monastery, but that's about it. In a way, I suppose that makes those particular volumes more valuable, right?
That boy who assists the Archbishop. Cyril, I believe? I hear he's originally from a foreign land to the east called Almyra. I know he's still only a child, but I do wonder about his true intentions.
Unbelievable. What a terrifying story. However, an assassination attempt on Lady Rhea is doomed to fail. Pardon? You think the goal may be different than simple assassination? Intriguing. I suppose the priceless objects in this room could perhaps draw thieves. However, there's no one but me who could make use of them.
Hey, you. Professor.
Seems like donations to the monastery aren't actually kept here. That means the enemy isn't likely to be interested in money. We should turn our attention elsewhere. Then again, I guess some of the plants in the greenhouse could sell for a lot. But that can't really be it, can it?
Really? Really?
You'd best keep your distance. In this nervous state, I might just cut you down. Oh, come on, I'm only kidding.
Might you have come looking for me because you were worried about my safety? I'm quite all right, but your concern means a great deal.
Okay?
Are we really just taking Claude's word for it? If so, I doubt anything will come of this. It is all probably just some sort of distasteful joke. I find it highly unlikely that anyone would be foolish enough to barge in here and cause a disturbance.
That was a big help. Something the church values above all else. And on the day of the rite, it'll be open to the public, making it easier than ever to get inside. That's gotta be it, right? Bullseye. We don't know the enemy's intentions, not yet, but our best bet is that their target will be the Holy Mausoleum.
Lord Lenato's rebellion may have been quelled, but the unrest in Fargus isn't dying down anytime soon. The Boar Prince should hurry up and claim the throne, rather than letting old customs hold him back.
You're skilled. Why won't you battle me?
I get things done. I actually won! I actually won!
I'm glad I asked you.